congratulations again on Chandrayaan 3. The world is on the moon with that. India is definitely on the moon. One thing now the World Space Week is going on, and the theme this time is space and entrepreneurship. And a lot of people are now excited in India to get into space ventures, especially after Chandrayaan. Any suggestions that you have for them?
See, in India, the space has generally been a public funded activity spearheaded by ISRO. But the emerging space sector shows private actors have a greater role to play. And the government has realized this and then brought the space sector reform and also the new space policy of 2023, which opens up the space sector to every activity private to come in, building rockets up to delivering applications, which is a great opportunity. And this is already getting reflected in various ways as entrepreneurship coming up, as incubation startups, as well as bigger companies willing to take up roles of building rockets and satellites for applications directly. And more operators and foreign direct investments are coming to India to create a vibrant space ecosystem. So with all of this, we are hoping that in the coming years, the scale of the economy of space activity in India will likely to grow substantially higher.
And so Chandrayaan has been, I would say, economically, scientifically, technologically, and even philosophically in some terms, and culturally, a very important mission for India. It will speak a lot about soft power, but I think it will also add a lot in making India a technological superpower. What are your thoughts on that?
So these are all iconic activities that we are doing. Landing on the moon by an indigenously developed lander and a rocket which launched it, done by India, done by Indian people. It's a really remarkable thing. Of course, it shows, as you mentioned, is a soft power. It's not just a soft power. It's also indicates an emergence of a new nation with its goal set very high, directed by our honorable Prime Minister itself. He says that the technological supremacy is needed for a nation to grow, both economically stronger and also in terms of the influence that it can do for the world order. And it is some vision of that nature is actually driving this type of activities. It is required to have a economical power. It's also important that India becomes a technological power. It's not just in space. It's required in many areas, right from food to security. All of these areas need to be addressed by the nation. And this landing on the moon is a symbolic activity that we can do it. It is possible for Indians to do this type of things, and it is possible for us to do in any other domain that we wish to do that. So it gives out a loud message, very clear, that we are ready to do.
They are ready to
Yeah.
yes. And sir, what are you most looking forward to from Department of Space point of view and ISRO's point of view? Yes, we have Gaganyaan, Aditya is on its way, but these are missions. But even apart from that, ISRO does a lot of R&D, which we don't get to see, and you have a close view at that.
So the essentially R&D is the core of the whole of this. Say Chandrayaan would not have happened without the necessary R&D in the back end.
Right.
Landing happens with all those instruments, all those sensors, all those algorithms, propulsion, everything, which has been well developed sufficiently, and we continue to do that at work over a period of time, and we are not dependent on any technology from anybody else. And if you really seek the technology, it will come at a reasonably very high cost and its own risks associated with that. So we would like to be more self-reliant. Make in India is a very important policy. So, and ISRO want to continue as R&D effort to be remaining as a public funded R&D organization, which will actually feed into the R&D and also product development culture of the industry. So it is a new policy that we have brought. The R&D is done not for ISRO alone, it is for the whole nation in space sector. So we would like to seek funding and support from the government for that part of it, and the operational part of what we are doing will more move to the industry. So but the most important thing which I will, in my opinion, is that R&D should happen also in the private, and this is something which we would like to push for.
Okay, and since you interact with entrepreneurs so much, what are the kind of skills you feel the entrepreneurs, especially those entering space, should have?
The space sector, as today this Space Week's theme goes, entrepreneurship as an important element. The biggest part in space is the innovative approaches, not classical approaches. So we must have an innovative solution to look at the emerging technology, how it beats what is existing. If you do not have something of that nature, it doesn't make any sense. Second element is the risk element which associated with any space. So you need backup system. If you jump into a space activity and you face a huge risk, especially at the higher end of the technology sector, you may fail and you may not be able to stand again. So you have to look at the whole space activity in different three core segments, verticals. One is high-end area where you work at high-end technology like rockets and satellites. Second is middle level is less technically complex but more deliverables are possible and less risks. Whereas the last segment is on the applications where innovation is more important and technological risks are minimum. And we must work on all of these domains to make sure that the space activity grow with the support of each other. For example, what I'm essentially telling is unless applications grow substantially, it will not add to the satellite and other technology. And if satellite technology doesn't grow, we don't add to the rocket building. So you can't do it in the reverse direction. So you must concentrate on all three verticals to create the required vibrant economic activity.
What are you looking forward to for the Indian space program?
I look forward to a very vibrant, active, commercially viable, large segment participating, job creating environment and space sector.
And I think this is one sector which is very interdisciplinary. It's open.
It is, every sector is interdisciplinary, like space sector. I don't see even automobile sector is interdisciplinary. So it's a question of what the nature of the segment is. The space has its own characteristic, which is dominated by the high risk. The risk element in the transport sector is in terms of its business processes, but here more than business, it is of the development risk, which is very high. So we need to understand and act accordingly.
Thank you.